was a Friday morning. I was off. I wasn't at work. And Parker called me, and I missed the call.
I remember her saying, "Mama, check on Parker. Just check on Parker."
I woke up and I was in the trees. I was in the bushes. And I heard the baby in the back seat screaming. And I heard Parker screaming, "Get me out of this car before I die." And they finally got Parker out of the car. And they put him in the ambulance and they just took him away from me.
My family are very close. Every Sunday we come together, we cook, we eat, we sit around and talk, we support each other. I mean, we are a very close family.
My parents, we lived on the outskirts, out in the country part of Oxford, maybe 10, 15 minutes from the town. My dad had a large plot of land and we rode bikes. We had four-wheelers, everything. We were always outside playing and everything. My freshman year at UNC Greensboro, I found out I was pregnant with Parker, and I called my parents and I said, "Hey, I'm pregnant." And I was like, "What am I gonna do?" And my parents said, "You're gonna finish school." And I was like, "Okay."
Parker called us Mama and Dada. We had Parker while she was in school, so we practically raised Parker.
He was everybody's baby, everybody. Cheerful, playful, happy. Just all over the place, wild, funny, life of the party.
He was a great kid. We still have that closeness now as we did when he was a child with us.
I'm Parker. I'm 13 years old. I like to play basketball. I admire my grandfather in basketball and John Morant, LaMelo Ball, Kevin Durant, but my favorite team is probably the Nets. Yeah, I would say my grandpa probably introduced me to basketball. One day he was watching a game and then I started watching it with him and then it just got interesting to me and I just wanted to do it myself. I play point guard or shooting guard.
He's always done sports like that. Baseball, flag football, basketball. He was always involved in the rec department.
I've been coaching Parker since he was like 5. Parker's always been the one who excels. He got the heart of a lion. I wish I had the drive that he had.
When you first meet Mr. Parker, he's this big ball of energy. He can't sit down, he's gotta touch everything. And then when you just peel back some layers, you realize like he's such a genuine soul and he wants to help out every single person. Parker wants to push everyone to like first place and just make sure that they're all at the same like position in life. And he shows a sense of caring that you don't really see in a lot of children, as particularly in his age. And he's just a delight.
The morning of the accident was like any regular morning. It was the first Friday of the school year, so it was still exciting. We were like, all right, let's get ready. Let's take a picture, you know. So as we're traveling from our house, we got past the high school, and Parker said we were just talking in the car. And he said I kind of started stumbling over my words. And he said that I wasn't responding to him.
I remember having a conversation with my mom, and then she just stopped speaking to me in mid-response.
She had a seizure behind the wheel. Parker saw it coming. He released his seatbelt and guided the wheel. And that when she hit a tree.
I remember grabbing the wheel, steering away from the traffic, and then from there it's just like a few moments I remember. I remember screaming. I remember seeing my brother. My eyes felt foggy, and I remember looking down, and I saw that my ankle had broken.
I knew something was wrong when we got to the hospital. And I kept saying, "Where's Parker? Where's Parker?" And no one, every time I said, "Where's Parker?" no one would say anything to me. They just got quiet. And that's when his dad and my brother came in and said, "He's hurt really bad."
You know, I always think about it. What if? You know, they're always the what if. If I had gotten a call, could I have coached him through preventing the accident?
I had broken my fingers. The baby had to have his head stitched. So we were all in the ER trying to get ourselves fixed. And then they told me about Parker. They finally led me up to his room. And I just saw my baby laying on the bed on life support with a neck brace on and all these tubes coming out of his stomach and his mouth. And it was bad. They took the pins out and put a cast on. They cut a square out, and every day they came in and they would just put their fingers as if they were checking his pulse on his foot. And he had a pulse every day. So everything was good. No blood thinners. They stopped the internal bleeding. And I think this was like day 3 or day 4. Boom, no pulse. And they said, "Well, don't worry about it. We'll check again tomorrow." The next day, you could see his foot turning a little gray. And then the next day it was black. And the doctor came in and said, "Okay, it's time for us to go ahead and amputate it." And so they pull the curtain. The whole family stands behind the curtain. And I have to sit on the bed with Parker and tell him that he's gonna be amputated. And he just cried out. And he was so afraid and terrified, and I just had to reassure him that everything was gonna be okay.
I was concerned about sports. I knew that it would take some time to get back in. So they said they'll provide a prosthetic as the time progresses. And after I heard that, I said, okay, I know that it's not gonna be the same as before, but I'm gonna try everything I possibly can to live the normal life that I was supposed to.
We found out from Shriners through the hospital. When we first went to Shriners, I mean, we had a ball. They make you feel so welcome.
The first time I went to Shriners Children's, I was blown away by how big it was. I remember meeting the doctors for the first time, meeting Chrissy, Nate, all of those guys.
When Parker first came to us after his accident, it was from the get-go, "Can I run now?" It was never a slow transition back to just being a kid. And he has this can-do attitude. He's so happy and fun. He's just, Parker's always waiting to do the next thing, whatever sports event. He's just a superstar.
So he underwent a below knee amputation, which was a cut through the leg bone. There's 2 bones in the leg, the tibia and the fibula, and so there was the leg was removed at the level of the mid tibia, which is what we call a below knee amputation.
So I've known Parker since he came to us at Shriners after his accident. He's been here 3 or 4 years now. So he was initially fit with a supracondylar prosthetic design, which means that the suspension comes above the condyles of the knee, and that's how it stays on while you're walking and running.
We were kind of getting Parker acclimated to getting up and moving again and transitioning back to just doing everyday things. Of course, he quickly progressed, and so now we have him in some newer technology with higher end components to help him really be competitive in the sports. The technology, how the prosthesis spins on his residual limb, is such an intimate fit that he's able just to not worry about the prosthesis itself, but just continue to be a competitive athlete that he is.
Parker wants to be active. He wants to play sports. He wants to play baseball and basketball. He wants to do things with his friends, and we want to provide him with the care and the devices that he needs to enable him to do that. There are very good prosthetics now that allow children to get back into regular activities and be very active in sports, and are here to kind of walk alongside these families to enable that to happen.
The Roadrunner experience is great. Found out that a lot of the Roadrunners are just regular people from the community that I've grown to love.
Shriners are the best. We support Shriners for everything.
I don't think without meeting the people there, I would be as kind and well as a person that they make me. From the words that they say, from the actions that they do, put all together would humble me the way that they do. For 3 months, I was not able to walk at all. But when I first took my first step with my prosthetic, it was an amazing moment of my life, and it opened a new chapter for me.
He plays basketball. That's his favorite sport. And this year he went out for baseball. As a child, he played baseball all the time, but this is his first year playing baseball in middle school.
Every time I possibly can, I want to pick up a basketball and just go and get as much work in as I possibly can.
I wish him all success for the future. I mean, a kid like that who endures something so young, you can't wish nothing but the best for him. If he wants to be in the NBA, I want him to be in the NBA, and I want to be there every step and hope that one day when he get there, he'll remember me as the first coach he had that pushed him to that spot.
I mean, he really is an amazing kid that when I think about teaching, he's one of those kids that make me realize I love my job and I love what I do. And I just hope that he makes everybody's day brighter.
I want the next child to know that might be going through the same situation I may be going through, to know that it's people there to support you and you're not alone.
I tell people all the time I live with a real life hero. His younger brother calls him Peter Parker all the time because they look at Spider-Man. Well, you don't understand Bryson. He's a real life hero. He not only saved Mama's life, but he saved yours too.
Hero to me means a person that no matter what does as much as they possibly can to make sure everything stays intact. And that's exactly what I want to make sure I do for not only just my mom and my brother, but for everyone that's ever around me. I want everyone to know that no matter how big of a person he became in life, he always made sure that everyone around him was okay and was in great care.
He hasn't let anything stop him yet. Just keep going. The sky's the limit.
With Shriners Children, they allowed me to work with the process of getting back to playing sports and activities I did before that happened, and just making sure I was living life as a regular child. Thanks to Shriners Children's, I'm back in the game.